Hey everybody, welcome to another video. And today we're going to talk about what is a survival knife. Now, bear with me guys, because I know there's a lot of you out there will say that there is no such thing as a survival knife. A knife in general is a tool that you can use for multiple purposes. You can use it for survival, you can use it for hunting, you can use it for food processing. You can use it for camping needs, all kinds of things. Uh, but a survival knife, to me, is specifically built uh, to do almost anything that you need it for it to do and maintain strength and durability. All right, now let's talk about survival knives. Ideally, if you are going into the wilderness to live, even to survive, if you are purposely going into the wilderness or purposely putting yourself in a situation to live away from civilization, okay, you would want to pack all the proper tools. You would want a decent sized axe. The further north you go, in a more forested areas with harsher winters, you want a larger axe, a full size axe. Okay. For southern climates where it's mostly warm and hot during the summer and winter time, you would want something like a machete to cut down vegetation, okay, or travel through swamps and such. Further north you go, you got the thicker forests with bigger trees. Further south you go, you're gonna have more brushes and tall grass and thinner trees that you have to maneuver through. Okay, so a machete may be more helpful to you in that climate than a axe. An axe will be more helpful to you in a northern forest area. Okay, so with that out of the way, in a survival situation, you are not expecting to go into a situation where you need all that. Okay? You in a survival situation, you are somewhat caught off guard and you find yourself needing to survive with what you have. Okay. Everyone will tell you for wood processing, the axe is the way to go. Okay. Now, the axe, in my opinion, is not for everybody. It takes some learning and some skills to use an axe. Okay, anybody who is inexperienced in using an axe will definitely hurt themselves. Okay, and I'd be one of them. All right, let me take this axe out of the sheath and show you how dangerous an axe can be. And I know many of you will say, well, it's not dangerous if you know how to use it. Right, but not everybody knows how to use an axe. And not everybody who is going to be put in a survival situation is going to have experience with axes. Now, look at the cutting real estate. It's about maybe 3.5 inches wide. Okay, this is a hand axe or a camp axe or a hatchet, whatever you want to call it. Okay, you have to swing this axe and not only hit your target, but hit the target with this much. Okay, so if your aim is off, you're gonna miss the target. You're gonna chop off your hand. Okay, you're tired, you're hungry, you're thirsty, you're fatigued, you may be even injured. Okay, and you pull out an axe and you start going to work, I guarantee you're going to hurt yourself. Okay, even the most experienced people are going to probably wind up hurting themselves. Okay, once again, if you're putting yourself in a situation where you are expected to go live in the wilderness and you need the proper tools, sure, take a hand axe, take a full size axe to go process wood. Okay? A survival situation is hopefully a temporary situation that you're trying to get out of. So, in my opinion, the best knife to have, okay, because no matter how well prepared the survival kit is, okay, especially in an aircraft or a boat or a vehicle, you're not going to pack a lot of things because it takes up space and it takes up weight, okay? So in a survival kit, you may find a decent medical kit, some food, some water, okay, some fire starting things, and some shelter building things, and you know, your general purpose survival kit. And in the survival kit, you may find a decent sized knife, okay, a belt knife, a full size tang knife to help you process wood, help you carve out things that you need to make, help you build shelter, help you light a fire, and all that. So, such a knife is heavy already. So if you add a knife to that kit, an axe to that kit, a saw to that kit, you're gonna be putting a lot of weight. And let me tell you something: you're in a car wreck, airplane crash, you're ready, or a boat is sinking. You want to grab what you can and bail out and save yourself. And if your kit is weighted down with all this hardware inside, I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be able to get away with it or get to it and successfully bail yourself out with all that weight. So, the bigger the knife, the better in a survival situation. And also, ideally you would want a knife like this if you're in a survival situation, emergency survival situation. This can be used as a chopper. You can cut with it, slice with it. It can be argued that you can also do finer carving details with it. Let me put it this way. I recently carved a spoon out of a block of wood like this. In order for me to get to the neck of the spoon, it would have taken me all day, absolutely all day, to use. Why can't I get this out? Okay. To use this, a carving knife, a whittler, to whittle down all the way down, it would take me all day. All right? But a knife like this, I can use to chop most of it away, chisel most of it away. All right? And then to get the finer details of the spoon, go in with a smaller pocket knife. Okay? So that's basically how I did. That's how I made that spoon. It's basically, I used the BK2. It has about a 5-inch blade. Overall, this is about 10 inches maybe. And I put it and chopped it. Okay? Chopped away big pieces so I could get down to whittling details and create a spoon. And that is what a survival tool should be allowing you to do, right? Now, the axe is not a survival tool. Now let's say this is all you had. Of course, you're going to have to use it as a survival tool, no doubt, okay? But, like I said, you're hungry, you're tired, you might be injured, you're fatigued, you're in a desperate situation, and you need to make something, and you are swinging this thing, and you're not even practiced. You could miss it totally, swing, cut your hand, cut yourself. It's so easy to make a mistake with an axe. And once again, many of you will say, well, if you know how to use one and if you practice, you'll be good at it. Well, let me tell you something. I know a lot of people who are experts with cutting tools and axes and all kinds of power tools and stuff. Accidents happen, folks, and in a survival situation, you want to minimize mistakes and accidents. Now, this, I would prefer to have a knife like this for in a survival situation, but even this may be too big for a survival kit or an emergency kit, okay? So, the best, in my opinion, is a knife like this. It's a 1/4 inch spine, so it's built like a tank, okay? It's basically, what this knife is basically this, okay? But with a longer blade, okay? With a longer blade and a shorter handle, so there is more control and less chance of you missing your target. Okay. Okay, less chance of missing your target. Less chance of missing what you're trying to chop away. Okay. So there is a reason, absolutely huge reason, why the spine is so thick. The top of the blade is so thick. Because it is made for chopping, but even chopping with a knife like this can be dangerous. And depending on how tired you are, fatigued you are, injured you are, desperate you are, you may not even want to chop with this, okay? What you may want to do is actually, okay, baton with it. And I know, like, some of you may say, well, you know, you don't want to baton with a knife because the knife may be your only tool option to survive, and you don't want to baton with it and break it or take a chance of damaging it, and then you won't have anything as a tool to survive. Well, a knife like this is built to take that kind of punishment. Batoning. It's specifically made this way so you can baton with it. You can use it as a very lightweight, effective axe by chopping, okay? Or you can place the blade onto whatever you want to cut and you can baton with it. Okay? I'm not going to do it on this desk because I'll probably wind up making a lot of racket and but anyway, so you get the point. So in order for you to have complete control of the situation, you want to put the blade on your target and baton and split open whatever you're trying to cut or process in order for you to either build a fire or chunk away this big piece of wood so you can make something, perhaps like a spear point, wooden spear point, or perhaps a tent stake, so you can stake down your tarp for shelter with some cordage and all that. Okay, so this is built for punishment. So, and it has been well tested in many reviews to prove that it can withstand all sorts of punishment. All right. Now it's full tang, 1/4 inch thick spine. It's got a pummel on the end of the hilt of the handle here, and this is of course for breaking open nuts. You can also use this end here to break away rocks, to maybe sculpt rock. Maybe you want to make a arrowhead or something out of flint, and you could actually break away stone to shape the stones and stuff with it. Also, this end here can be used to you know, as a very lightweight hammer. Okay, I wouldn't do anything too heavy because, I mean, you can, if you're hitting metal against metal, yes, nothing is infallible, nothing is impossible to break, right? But this end can be used to crush whatever you need to crush, okay? Uh, this is sharp enough to be considered as a knife, very sharp, and you can even say razor sharp. But compared to the axe, I would argue that it would be very hard to get an axe as sharp as this. Okay, I've seen people cut hair with axe, or allegedly they can cut hair with axe. I mean, that's how sharp they get it. But but realistically, nothing is thinner and sharper than no axe is thinner and sharper than a knife. Okay, so in a survival situation, to me, this knife and its length and thickness and toughness is ideal for survival, and that is why we call this the survival knife. Now, people will say, well, what about if this is all you have? How are you going to work on the finer details? Well, here is me holding this knife the way I would hold a pocket knife, a carver, okay, to carve with, okay? So let's see if I can carve with this knife. I don't see why not. It's carving pretty good to me. I mean, can I do this for a longer extended period of time than if I was using a smaller knife? Of course not. This is heavier. This knife is bigger. This knife is less more unwielding. So yes, I mean, I could, for short periods of time, I can actually use this to whittle with. But can I do it as long as, can I keep it up as long as I can with a smaller knife? Probably not. Okay, I could probably work with a smaller knife longer and go into better details. But in a survival situation, if this is all you have, it's definitely better than nothing. And yes, why can't you carve with it? And if you have to actually, in a survival situation, I would prefer this over this, because this will allow me to whittle this down a lot faster just by chopping away big chunks. And then, like I said, once I get to the smaller pieces, then I can go ahead and use this knife to whittle in the details. Okay, so the survival knife. This is what a survival knife should be. Now, there are bushcraft knives. What are bushcraft knives? Bushcraft knives, ladies and gentlemen, is a step above a kitchen knife, okay? It's supposed to be made sturdier and thicker and stronger than a kitchen knife, but it's supposed to mimic what a kitchen knife does. In other words, it's for food processing. It's for cutting meat. You know, it's for butchering meat, okay? It's for cutting cordage and soft tissue and soft materials. It is not used for wood processing, okay? Bushcrafters are people who have proper tools, okay? They go into the woods to live in the woods, not to go survive, okay? So when they go into the woods, they are going to prepare themselves with the proper tools to take into the woods, okay? That's not a survival situation. That is a situation where they're going to either enjoy a day in the woods or go live in the woods, and they're going to take the proper tools. They're going to take the carving knives. They're going to take the belt knives for processing game, hunting for hunting. They're gonna have either a machete or a saw or an axe or all of the above. Okay, so that's bushcraft scenario. And for survival scenario, this is this is all. I'm not saying this is all you need. This is all you're gonna have, because this is what's likely gonna be packed in your survival kit, which is probably about maybe size of a backpack, all the way down to maybe a size of a little pouch. So, that is what a survival knife is. Anyway, I don't want to drag on this video. I know I don't claim to be an expert, folks, but this is my take on what a survival knife is, and this is what I build my kits around. This philosophy of what a survival knife is, what a bushcraft tool is. Now, I do wear this on my bushcraft belt kit. Okay, this is my choice of knife for survival and bushcraft. Okay, as you can see, in my other video, when I was making a spoon out of a piece of wood like this, I used this quite a bit to chip away a lot of the wood before I went to the carving knife. Okay, and this is the Rough Rider swayback whittler, classic carbon. And let me tell you, folks, I love it. This knife cost me less than $20, and I have to say it goes through this wood better than I expected it to. It is actually cutting a lot better as I'm getting used to it. So love this knife. Love it. If this ever wears out, definitely getting another one to replace it. Okay, but I seriously doubt if this is gonna wear out anytime soon. Just for if I'm using it as a whittler, it's got a lot of steel left in it. So I'll be sharpening this and stropping this for a few years to come before I need to buy another one. And when I do need to buy another one, less than 20 bucks, folks. I mean, you can't beat it. I don't care how well the case knives and the Eastern cutlery knives are made. They may be made out of real bone and nickel, silver, and which this is. I mean, the Rough Rider knives are made out of genuine materials. I recently ordered a knife from Rough Rider. It's going to be coming soon, and it is made out of bone jig material. Well, it is actually bone, okay? But then I looked up the comparable knife on Case, and Case actually stated in the descriptions that the knife was synthetic jig bone material. It wasn't even real bone, okay? And that knife was going for 40 bucks. And the knife that I ordered was only $9.99 from Rough Riders. And it said it had nickel silver bolsters and actual bone scales, jig bone. Okay, so to me that's outrageous. And considering that Rough Rider quality built workmanship is almost as good, if not as good, as Case. So I understand USA made products cost more because we have to pay our citizens the proper benefits and wages and everything, and it's almost impossible to compete with Chinese labor. But I'll be honest with you folks, if you're gonna charge me premium for a knife, at least make it out of premium genuine materials. Okay, don't give me the synthetic stuff and boast that it costs 2 times, 3 times, 4 times more than your competitor because it's made by U.S. hands. All right, I understand it costs more to make it by U.S. hands, but if you're gonna make it cost more because of that, at least use genuine materials, okay, and better steel. And in which I believe many of the case knives do use better steel and better materials than maybe these Rough Riders. But let me tell you something. I don't care. I don't know. Well, this steel here, 440 steel, stainless steel, has gotten my respect. Okay, it has. I have newfound respect for 440 steel. I really do. Okay, this knife carves and cuts and slices way better than my CVV Elementum. Now the CVV Elementum, that knife comes with the S35VN steel, and let me tell you something. That is supposed to be like a super steel. It doesn't come close to carving wood like this. Okay, and let me tell you something. Edge retention is not too bad. It's not. I could work on this piece of wood whittling away for an hour, okay, and it'll keep cutting like this, okay. And for me to get it as sharp as when I first started whittling on this, all I had to do is just strop it. And that's what I did. After I made that spoon, I took the knife inside and I stropped it, okay. And I can't tell the difference from the first cut to the last. It's that sharp. Love this. If you guys haven't put this in your collection, please look it up. It is the classic carbon Rough Riders sway back. The main blade is a sheep's head blade that is just superbly designed for whittling and carving, okay. And then the two backup blades, I don't want to even call them pen blades. I call them the backup blades because, you know, even the best of the best tools for wood carving gets dull after, you know, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Like I said, I used this knife almost over 30 minutes to carve that spoon, and it didn't show any sign of losing its edge. So I was impressed. But yeah, when you're out in the wilderness and you may not have access to a sharpening stone or whatever, you wear this out or dull this while you're working on something, you have your, to me, these are what I like to refer to as backup blades to finish the job. And also detail blades to actually get finer details. Let's try it. Let's try this bad boy. And go in here and just, you know, with a detail blade, you're not looking to take big chunks out. You're just going in there to scrape some excess wood, cut a little line or detail, and then cut away the line, you know, like that, you know, engrave a little bit, you know, into the wood, and just chip away little by little to make a fine detail. Maybe you're sculpting something and you're putting in details like an eye or a nose or something, and you're just whittling away little tiny pieces of wood. That's what you're using the penknife for. And then, of course, the bigger the blade, the more chunks of wood you're taking away. But I found this blade here to be a beast. I can strip away bark and big pieces, and at the same time I can move in and just carve away small pieces for finer detail. Oh man, I can't stop talking about this knife. I love it. Love it. Yep. love my survival knife. And this, to me, you know, I know there's a lot of beautiful knives out there, and they are similar to this type of knife, but to me, this is just a tank. This is just a piece of hardware, almost indestructible. I mean, and for its price, I paid, I think, like $95 for this, brand new. If I break this somehow, which I seriously doubt that I would break, or chip away the edge, which I have not been able to. I've batoned with this knife, chopped with this knife. I've put this knife through the ringer, and even the finish is held up very well. You can, if you look at it very close up, you can see all the slight smudges and marks from use. And I did not use this lightly. I used this almost like like an axe actually, because it is an axe in my opinion, like I said. And I was unable to damage the edge or the finish. So yes, well worth the $95. And even if I break it, like I said, I wouldn't cry to buy another one. Now, if this knife was $200-300 knife and I broke it, even if it was a lifetime warranty, I'd still be crying, because then it'd be like God knows how long it would take to get a replacement or get the company to fix it for you. Okay, but if I was to break this today, all I have to do is just go to the nearest sporting store or order it online, and for $95, boom, I got another one. A $200-300, $400 knife, it's kind of hard to replace, unless, of course, like I said, the company is willing to replace it for you or repair it for you, right? So, to me, this is the knife for me, okay? And for bushcrafting, I have all the tools that I need to take with me, including an axe if I had to. But I'd be honest with you, I wouldn't even take an axe unless I'm ready to build like a log cabin. Okay, if I'm building like a small shed or a log cabin, yes, then I wouldn't even mess with the hand axe. I would go with the full-blown axe to chop down trees and split large, thick logs in half to get it. I mean, imagine if this was a huge log and you need to split it like this to create a wall or some sort, or a bridge or some sort. You would want an axe to do that with, right? But for light bushcraft tasks, I may just take this, okay, because I could use to practice with this anyway. But this is all the heavy duty axe, knifing and axing that I need right here, okay? The rest of the stuff can be done with pocket tools. All right, anyway, I have dragged this video on forever, and I promised that I wasn't gonna make long videos, but I'm sorry. But please, if you see this video, if you took some time to watch this video, leave a comment down below. Thank you very much.